Hi, welcome back to my channel. Antoinette here. I'm going to do a quick VR. This was originally started, I believe, 9 months ago by Sandra at Spirit of Avalon. And I recently watched, is it Moonlight Fae? Oh my God. Sorry, Cara, if I've just screwed your channel up. I'll pop the links down below anyway, because she did a VR to this yesterday or the day before. And I thought I had already done a VR to it. Start with one that'll be controversial, and I don't care. So the first weird one that I'm going to pull out is the Outgrow Yourself Tarot Oracle from Anna Sparman. So it's got many good aspects to it, okay? So I'm not dissing any of the good aspects to this deck. I'm just calling it weird from a perspective of the type of artwork that it represents doesn't really represent anything I would keep in my normal deck cabinet. I'm not really into these weird naked bodied hairy people with, everything out on show. So that is the reason why it fits in my weird category. That's really the only reason. It has other nuances to the deck that people may find weird, like having an oracle heading on it, not having so when you get to some of the cards like this one, for instance, not having anything on there that tells you what you're looking at besides the Thoth word. So for me, I've written on the cards and put what they are, but the actual vibe of the decks is a little bit weird from my normal category of what I like. They're not completely Antoinette decks. I don't know what else to say. Oh, how much fun we can have with these. So it's really just the vibe of there's been a lot of these female centric, empowering, embracing wobbly bits, curves and things, which that message I absolutely love. I think is spot on personally, though it just does nothing for me. Like, I don't know what to say. It's like the equivalent of a bloke in a string vest with hairy legs and Jesus sandals and sports socks. And a handkerchief on his head, like that. That's the equivalent of this to me from an attractive point of view. And yes, I know, controversial. Take me to the hashtag. What was it? Hashtag no explanations. So yeah, it's my first one that for me, I feel is weird in my category of collection. So there we go. But on the plus side, it is a lovely, empowering deck, and it does have really nice messages on it, and it does help you to outgrow yourself. So it does exactly what it says on the tin. So there's one. So I've gone with the Tarot of Mystical Moments, only because of the composition of the artwork in this one. I love surreal artwork. And this to me is a bit more surreal, dreamlike. And I guess therefore that puts it in a weird category with the perspective of surrealism. So gorgeous artwork, gorgeous deck, reads really nicely. Love it to pieces. So it's not here in a I hate it weird perspective. I absolutely love it. So this is my deck number 2. I know some people find surrealism or surrealist artworks to be, just too much. But I've always really enjoyed these types of artworks. I never really explored creators, but we used to have a poster shop here called Athena, and they had some amazing surreal artwork posters. I had loads of them growing up. My favourite was a staircase, and then I don't know if it was a Dali or somebody else, but I had another one with a girl kind of staring out. And it was just like an amazing picture with everything that was going on around it. But the ones with the staircase, like the scene in The Labyrinth with David Bowie, all the staircases going all multiple ways and you can't tell which way's up and which way's down. I think I still have 2 of my original pieces that I purchased to go on my walls back in the 90s, 80s, somewhere in this house in a tube waiting to be used. I mean, yeah, some of this artwork is just, isn't it? So that is my deck number 2, Tarot of Mystical Moments. Absolutely beautiful. This is more my scene than the first one that I showed you. So just a perspective on why I picked that one up. So and of course this one's mass market. This one's direct from the creator, so self-published, I suppose, indie. The next one is, I suppose, indie. And it's going to be Carnival at the End of the World. I had high hopes for this one when it comes to reading with it, but I've not really succeeded. So it's got lovely backs. It's I think this is like the Pagan Otherworlds. It's that type of cardstock. It's slightly linen, very slippy, and I think that's about the size of it from what I've understood from other people talking about them, because I don't have Pagan Otherworld, so I'm not able to talk from experience. But this one has some lovely bizarre images, so for that reason I'm popping this into my kind of weird top 5 weird decks category. Again, kind of, I guess, in that world of surrealists, so you can see why I would have picked this one up and dropped it into my collection. The book is kind of interesting that goes with this. It has the layout actually of the book is really interesting. So look at that. That are 6 of Cups. All those portraits. Yeah. So plenty of reasons why this one's here. Plenty of cards to select from. In fact, if you just pick one deck, here it is. So he's meant to be coral, but this always reminds me of there was a program many years ago with I want to say German, possibly, forensic doctor. He used to dissect bodies, and they did like a live dissection. So there's like a few programs where he had a cadaver donated and he did like live dissections, and one of them was where he laid out the nervous system of the body, and it kind of reminds me of that. It sort of reminds me of the nervous system, with it being the star, of course, but that image always kind of stuck with me. I was fascinated as to how he managed to dissect it firstly, because it must have took hours. But then it's even more interesting to know that that's inside your body, like this. This is what your brain looks like. It's what your intestines look like. So deck number 3, from my top 5. These aren't actually in any particular order, to be fair. I haven't marked anyone out as the number 1 weird. They're just as I pull them. There we go. The next one I've seen a few people pull out, so it's new to my collection, so it was the first one that came to mind when I was watching Cara's video. So it is the Mind's Eye Tarot by Olivia Rose. It is the mass market version from US Games. I'm in the middle of a spread with this one, so I've already got half the deck here. And this one, because we have all the eyes, really. I just thought from a normal tarot deck perspective, it's not usual to have all of these eyes looking back at you from your cards. It does bring up kind of feelings, thoughts. There is that feeling of being watched constantly, and you don't normally get that with a tarot deck. So it does have its own vibe completely, this one. Haven't worked out what this deck likes to be used for. At the moment I'm using it to do the spreads, or a spread. I'm doing the soul spread. The soul spread from Rachel Pollack's walk through the Forest of Souls, currently laid out on my table in the other room. So there we are. And those I'm not really sharing on YouTube. I'm sharing those on Instagram as pictures, because it's just quicker and easier. So if you know where I am on Instagram, you can go and see what the pictures look like, but it's more an open-ended conversation. So if you want to talk about what you see in the spread, rather than me going in great depth into, philosophizing what's there. So here we go. That's my number 4. And number 5, I kind of had to pull. So it is the Beast Pack from Trompe della Luna by Patrick Valenza. So this is the pack that comes in paper. It's 2020. It's a small deck, so it is triumphs only. So this is the standard version I've brought down for you to see. If you go to my Patrick Lenser collection, you'll see all the others that I own here. And we have, so it's replacement or a secondary version of the Triumphs in the deck. So you can either replace them with these, swap them out, or you could mix them in, I suppose. I haven't found out. I know that these are from a very ancient, or inspired by very ancient decks. I think that's just hilarious. But the meanings that Patrick's put for these is really good. And I haven't been able to memorize them, which is really frustrating. So that's why I don't use these very often at all, to be fair. But yeah, this is the Beasts pack, the standalone Beasts pack that comes single wrapped. Because I know that his newer decks came with the Beast Pack expansion in them. So you got, like the 115 deck boxes. And you also got 10 Oracle deck cards in there as well. So this is my 5th and final deck of weirdness. So yeah, there we go. What decks did you put in yours? I would love to know. Let me know in comments. And if you haven't done this tag, it's an easy one to do, so why not hop on over, go and check out Sandra's channel, and let us see what you've got in your collection that you would deem weird. I think it'd be interesting to see now, if I did this in 2 years' time, where I would be and what decks I'd pull then. I wonder if it'd be similar. I know it'd always be this one. This one will always come out either curious, weird, or wonderful. It's always going to be that one. This one I've put here because I understand that this is weird in other people's spectrums, but not necessarily mine. Yeah, so take care. Bye-bye.